The holidays are fast approaching, or as I like to call them, sell people some stuff they don't really need season. With this in mind, I would like to remind everyone that I've written not one, but 2 books. The Origin of Names, Words, and Everything in Between of volumes 1 and 2 are books that do pretty much exactly what they say on the cover. They highlight in a fun and engaging manner a whole variety of how things got their names. Each book is split into chapters which cover a specific topic, from popular topics like countries and towns to more niche subjects like toys, bands, and even abstract nouns. If you or someone you know enjoys Name Explain, then these books are the second best way to get a physical incarnation of the channel into your hands. The first best way is for me to come over to your home and talk non-stop about words, but I'd probably only do that if someone donated like $10,000 or something on Patreon. Hey, there's no harm in putting that out there. Even if you know someone who isn't aware of this channel but enjoys fun facts and trivia in general, then I have a good hunch that they would enjoy these books. And if you're curious to know what the content of these books are like, then why not enjoy this video, which is actually an extract from volume 2, specifically the historical places chapter. Yeah, the world we live in now is not the same world that existed in the past. From countries that no longer exist, to fallen empires and the land itself being in different places. These previous places on our planet, of course, all had names. Some of these names were used when they were still around, and some of these names have been given to them retrospectively. So if you want to know how places of the past got their name, or just want a free taste of one of my books, then stick around. Prussia was a kingdom within the German Empire. A kingdom within an empire? That's some pretty impressive stuff right there. While the German Empire started life in 1871, the Kingdom of Prussia actually outdated the empire that would consume it, being formed in 1701, though both the German Empire and the Kingdom of Prussia would cease to be in 1918, in the aftermath of the First World War. What was once Prussia doesn't neatly fit into a modern country or two, but instead parts of former Prussia now reside in parts of Denmark, Germany, Belgium, Czechia, Poland, Russia, and Lithuania. The name of Prussia is believed to derive from a tribe of people who once lived in the land that Prussia once resided in, especially the area approximately around the Baltic Sea. These people were even known as the Old Prussians, Prusai, or Prussia. Where their name came from, however, doesn't seem to be too sure. Ideas link it possibly to geographic routes relating to the many bodies of water in this region of the world. Though once Germanic people rocked up and took over this land, they clearly liked the name enough to keep it. Now, I'm very aware of how much this name sounds like Russia. It's still a debated topic as to whether these names are linked or not. A lot of people seem to chalk it up to a coincidence, as we seemingly know that Russia was named after the Rus people, though these Rus people did live in very close vicinity to the Old Prussians, so perhaps there was some intermixing. One idea even claims that the name Prussia comes from the Old Slavic Polus, which means land near the Rus, so maybe these names are more connected than we thought. This nation existed twice on our planet, first from 1918 till 1941, and then again from 1945 all the way until 1992. It's very much intentional that those dates line up with world wars, as Yugoslavia was officially created in the immediate aftermath of the First World War. During the Second World War, it was claimed and split up by the Axis powers, only for it to re-emerge at the end of that war. The nation lasted all the way up until the early 90s, and in its place today lies the nations of Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Serbia, Montenegro, Kosovo, and North Macedonia. What connects all these nations? Well, minus once all being one larger nation, of course. It's their language and their people, all being South Slavic. While the nation only existed in the 20th century, the idea of one large country containing all the South Slavic people actually dates back hundreds of years. This should explain to us where the Slavia part of the name comes from. That ever-present ear suffix means land of the, so this name can be seen as meaning land of the Slavs. Why Yugo, however? These 4 letters don't appear in any of the names of the nations that now exist. Where did it come from? Well, remember I mentioned Yugoslavia was specifically Southern Slavs? This Yugo part relates to their southerly location. It's worth mentioning here that South Slavic is different to North Slavic. North Slavic, which is often split into West and East Slavic, includes the likes of Russia, Polish, and Czech. Anyway, Yugo comes from the Old Church Slavic Jugu, which means south. Combining this with the aforementioned Slavia shows us that the name as a whole means land of the Southern Slavs, which is very fitting as this is exactly what this country was. If there was ever an empire that came closest to dethroning Rome when it was in full power, it was the Carthaginian Empire. Much like the Roman Empire, their empire's name was simply the name of their capital city in adjective form, with that capital being Carthage. The city of Carthage lay in the north of modern-day Tunisia, though their empire spread across North Africa and even into southern Spain. All that lay between Carthage and Rome was the Mediterranean Sea and the islands of modern Italy, which of course Carthage tried to claim at various times. The disputes between Carthage and Rome came to a head in a series of wars called the Punic Wars, the second of which was perhaps the closest Rome came to being conquered. It was in the Second Punic War Carthaginian general Hannibal Barca took elephants across Spain and over the Alps in an attempt to capture Rome. Rome had the last laugh though, as the third and final Punic War resulted in absolute defeat for Carthage, and their land being claimed by Rome. Carthage has a very simple meaning. It comes from the Phoenician Quart Kadash, which means new town, as when Carthage was first set up, it was a new town. A simple name, that's for sure, but not a very future-proof one. It won't be a new town forever. What you may have also noticed is the word Punic. This is the adjective used to describe things and people from Carthage. It might sound odd that these words are so different, but with instances of this on our planet today, think of how people and things from the Netherlands are described as Dutch. Punic is a word that came around just by being passed through languages. These people were also known as the Phoenicians, as were other tribes from this part of the world, and over the years, Phoenician became Punic. Quite possibly the most important place in human history, often known as the cradle of civilization. Mesopotamia is where we humans stopped being hunter-gatherers and started forming societies like the ones we know today. The wheel, maths, and writing are all inventions of those who lived in Mesopotamia. Life was able to kickstart in such a way here due to a variety of factors, including the fertility of the soil in the area and the climate. Parts of the modern nations of Iraq, Iran, Kuwait, Syria, and Turkey in Western Asia on the cusp of the Arabian Peninsula is where Mesopotamia resided. Mesopotamia, however, wasn't a single kingdom or nation, but rather the name for the land various tribes and peoples thrived in, such as the Babylonians and Sumerians. They for sure didn't call the land Mesopotamia either. It's a name given to the land retroactively by the Greeks, so it's of Greek origins. As mentioned, the people of ancient Mesopotamia could thrive because the soil there was so darn fertile, meaning farming could be achieved. The reason this soil was so good to farm on was because Mesopotamia lived between two rivers, which enhanced the soil there. These two rivers being the Tigris and Euphrates. Its position in the middle of two rivers is why it now has the name Mesopotamia, as this comes from the Greek words of meso, which means middle, and potamos, meaning river. So the name simply means land in the middle of rivers. The Greek meso is seen in the names of other parts of the world too, like the name Mesoamerica we use for the land in the middle of the continent of the Americas. We are going further back than we have done so yet, before humans were even around, before the world even looked like what it does now. This is with the supercontinent of Pangia. All the land on our Earth was once upon a time connected. You can still kind of see it too. South America's east coast looks like it could fit snugly into Africa's west coast. Pangia is the name we have given this huge chunk of land. It's thought to have existed 355 million to 175 million years ago. So yeah, this place is rather old indeed. Obviously, no one was around calling this land Pangia at the time. There are literally no humans around to call it anything. This name is actually a fairly recent concoction. The concept of Pangia itself was only created in 1912, just over 100 years ago. Pangia is the brainchild of German geophysicist Alfred Wenger, though despite being German, he didn't give the land a German name, instead opting to give it a name of Greek origins, as these things often get given Greek/Latin names to make them sound far more fancy. Pan in Greek means all/entire/whole, and the Gia part relates to Gaia. In Greek mythology, Gaia is one of the primordial deities and is seen as the personification of Earth. Gaia is often seen as an alternative name for Earth too. This means that the name Pangia means the entire Earth, as the land of Pangia did in fact consist of the entire Earth. And that's just 5 of the historic places covered in the chapter. There are 5 more in there, as well as a ton of other names covered across these 2 books. I was being a little sarcastic at the start of this video, but seriously, these books were a joy to write, and from what I've been told, they're a joy to read. If you love Name Explain, or know someone who just loves facts in general, then these books would be a great gift for them. You can buy them pretty much everywhere you can buy books from, and they're available in all major formats. My favourite way to enjoy a book is as an audiobook, and the audiobook versions of these books are terrific. The best thing about them is that they are recorded by a professional voice actor who actually knows how to speak. So please do consider ordering a copy of my books, The Origin of Names, Words, and Everything in Between, Volumes 1 and 2. Name Explain depends on viewers like yourself supporting the channel financially on Patreon, so a huge thank you to everyone who does. Donating just $1 a month helps the channel amazingly and gets you bonuses including ad-free videos, exclusive content, the power to request ideas to be made into actual Name Explain videos, and your name at the end of the video with all these awesome people. Visit patreon.com/nameexplain or click the link down below to find out how you too can support the channel. Thank you. Thanks for reaching the end of the video. Why not watch another and subscribe to keep up to date on all things Name Explain. You can find myself on Instagram where I'm NameExplainYT, and join the Facebook group Friends of Name Explain to talk with myself and other name nerds. All that will be linked down below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and once again, thank you all so much.